If you're a B2B company and you're still running outbound the exact same way you was in 2024, let me be very, very honest with you. Your systems are probably outdated and it's going to damage your results in 2025. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is David Walker-Dobson, and I run a lead generation and sales automation company powered by Clay, and we've generated thousands of leads for our clients using cold email. So trust me when I say this. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps that you need to take to modernize your outbound and cold email systems. Let's get into it.
So why is cold email and Clay so important in 2025? So the B2B market is changing very, very fast. Traditional methods of outbound just don't work like they used to. You can't simply just build a list on Apollo, scrape it, validate it, and send cold emails. Them days are completely gone. Prospects are more skeptical than ever. The rise of AI has created an overwhelming level of competition, with hundreds of software providers and agencies all pitching the exact same thing. And your idle customers' inbox, it's bombarded daily with poorly written cold emails of so many different people pitching them. Like my inbox, I get at least 10 kind of cold emails every single day, and they lack relevancy and they lack any real substance in regards to me. And everyone's fed up, right? Everyone's fed up of being pitched again and again in the inbox. So if you do want to succeed, you need a mechanism that gets you first and foremost into the inbox, because that's like almost like half of the battle, and one that actually differentiates you in the market, and an offer that's actually going to generate you leads and book you meetings. They're the three things that you need. Now, outbound over the years is shifted so much. In 2022, these were the easy days. You could build a bulk list, you could send generic copy, you didn't have to worry about deliverability, and you'd still get crazy results. Then we went into 2023, and that impact started to decline a little. Although it was still there, you could still send generic lists. There was more competition. The inbox got a lot busier, and prospects started to get a bit more skeptical. And basic cold email started to not work. You had to, segment your list more, have more of a direct copy, and so on. 2024 came, and the generic list building that it was gone. Like, if you were sending generic copy to kind of like a bulk list, in essence, just spamming people, there was no hopes on earth that you was going to get any decent results. So personalization became a lot more essential. So did segmentation. That became very, very essential. And so did deliverability. Deliverability became a crazy mess. It got 10 times harder to get into the inbox, especially with ESPs like Microsoft. And outbound became a lot more sophisticated. And yeah, like market saturation also was a lot more significant. There was more players than ever, especially because of the rise of like tools like Smartlead and Instantly that allowed anyone to basically just send mass emails. And now we're here in 2025, right? And for me, these are my predictions. Hyper-specific messaging is going to win. You need to get so granular with your message and so granular with your targeting that there's no chance that that message doesn't feel like it's written specifically for that prospect. We need to master deliverability. So what that pretty much looks like is diversification and being prepared. So that is having multiple ESP providers. So that's Microsoft, Google, and private sending infrastructure, and also making sure that you have extra inboxes kind of like on a back burner just warming up in case some of your inboxes die and so on, just allowing you to rotate that infrastructure. Inbound led outbound is going to get even more traction. We did have a lot in 2024, but we're going to see a lot more of this in 2025 just because we're in a relevancy game now. And of course, with the tools like Clay that even enable this kind of approach, we're going to see a lot more of it. And just survival is going to depend on adaptation. You need to move away from kind of your mindset when it comes to outbound and start adopting more complex and more powerful workflows that you can achieve inside Clay. Now, if you're already running outbound, you may already have like a cold calling or cold email or even LinkedIn process already locked in. But I just want to be very, very clear with you. You're probably not using it as effectively as you could. So if you haven't updated your approach since 2024, you're probably already falling behind. Technology is advancing at an insane rate. Yesterday's methods simply don't cut it today. If you're still using the same strategies from a year ago, you're already outdated. And if it's been 2+ years since you've updated, you're practically operating in the Stone Age. It's time to modernize. You need a more sophisticated operating system when it comes to demand generation and B2B lead gen. And for this, you need a software like Clay. Why should you use Clay? Why should you use Clay? Now, first and foremost, more leads. It's as simple as that. It allows you to create hyper specific and hyper relevant copy. Since you should understand that different prospects at different stages need tailored messaging that speaks uniquely to them, and it also allows you to speed up your processes, so you can set up your Clay tables and workbooks. More on that later. And your outbound pretty much runs on autopilot, generating you high quality opportunities every single day. With Clay, you can scrape, you can enrich, you can automate your whole outreach processes using various dynamic triggers, automation, AI, and everything in between. It's a very, very powerful tool. Now, before we get into all of the details, what is outbound? What does it mean? Now, I defined outbound as, well, first and foremost, outbound it's evolved into many forms. It's cold email, it's cold calling, it's LinkedIn outreach, it's trigger based, it's inbound led outbound. It's so many different things now, but at its core, in its most purest form, it's just proactively reaching out to potential customers instead of waiting for them to come to you. So you're reaching out to someone and pitching your service, or trying to pique their interest in your service. Now, it's outbound, whether it's kind of like a broad, total addressable market campaign approach, a hyper personalized trigger based outreach, or inbound led outbound. The goal remains the same, which is starting conversations, reaching out to someone to try to generate sales opportunities. Now, as I said earlier, there's a few different types of outbound, two being cold. Okay, so the first two I'm going to speak about is pure outbound. Well, I call it that. Now, this is when you build a list, you find leads, you write copy for that specific list. You might do some segmentation, and then you'll either send some emails, do some cold calls, or do LinkedIn outreach. Now, this, like I said, is the purest form of outbound you can get. And if anything, this is where you should start. So you build your list within your ICP, you write the scripts, you either send emails, cold call, or LinkedIn. Then we have dynamic list building or trigger-based campaigns or trigger-based outbound. Now, this is when you reach out to a lead once something has happened. So like a custom action has to have occurred. Now, you can monetize these kind of actions inside Clay. And this can be things like if their job changes, if the company or the account is hiring, if a company has recently been funded. Website visits is more inbound led outbound. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But the point is here that something needs to happen for you to reach out to that person. And typically, the way you would do this is you would map your ICP. You would write scripts based on the trigger and the ICP. So you're like pre-preparing this. You would watch for the trigger. And then if the trigger occurs, an email is sent or an alert is sent to an SDR, and then they'll go call that individual or the account or whatever. Or even LinkedIn as well. Let's not forget LinkedIn. Now, the final type, you're almost combining two methods. So you're relying on your inbound efforts. So this could be paid marketing, it could be SEO, it even could be content. So you're relying on your inbound efforts and then converting that traffic, or converting converting the inbound traffic into opportunities by using outbound. This is not a new concept, right? Companies have been doing this for years. People run ads, and then your SDR would then call up if once a form has been filled, for example. But the difference is the way that we are approaching it, and many other companies are. We're using cold email as the outbound aspect instead of like a cold call. So typically, you would define the ICP. You're probably also already creating content. You'd write scripts based on the inbound signal. So if you're creating content, you would write scripts based on that signal. If it's a website visitor, you would write scripts based on that. Then you can automatically qualify the lead inside Clay, and then you can either send an email or cold call or reach out on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's the three types of outbound that exist at the moment. So that's traditional pure cold. Then there's dynamic list building, which is kind of a little bit warmer, you could say. And then finally, the warmest is inbound led outbound. And the inbound led outbound is where a lot of people are going to start focusing. Now, in my opinion, the main campaign type that you should start focusing on, firstly, is the pure outbound. You need to master the cold email fundamentals. This is key. And although it is the hardest type to get results for, if you can get results for this, then all of the other types get 10 times easier. So you should start with a full TAM approach. And this is just to build reach and volume into your campaigns. And once you've built that foundation, you've built that skill set, you can layer in trigger-based outreach and inbound-led outbound for high conversion rates. Now, once you understand how these work, you can start designing scripts and offers that hit hard with the other types. But first, like I said, you need to crack this type, which is total addressable market outreach. Now, typically how this works, and this is going to be the focus of this video as well. I'm not going to be covering the other types of outbound. However, if you do want me to cover them, I can, please let me know in the comments, and then I can cover them in a different video. So just as this diagram is showing, you start out with full-time called outbound based campaigns. Once you know how to get results there, you can go on to trigger based and dynamic list building. And then finally, once you graduate from trigger based and you know what you're doing there, then you can go into inbound led outbound. Now, each outbound method or strategy, whatever you want to call it, has its own effectiveness. So full-time outbound, it has the least effectiveness and is in essence the hardest to get results for. And that is why it's $1 million pound problem, right? If you can solve full-time outbound, so purely cold, building a relevant list and reaching out to them and converting that relevancy into leads and sales opportunities, you're solving a multi-million pound problem. Now, trigger-based outbound, it's a lot easier. Well, it's more effective. And this is because it's more relevant. These targets are problem aware. So because they meet specific conditions, like they're actively hiring for a role that is similar to what you service. This means that they're aware that they have a problem and they're actively already trying to solve it. But what you're saying is that we see that you're solving it this way, which is hiring. It could be hiring an SEO specialist if you're an SEO agency. But you're basically saying, but that's not the solution that you want. You want our solution, and this is the reasons why. So they're problem aware. Well, now when we start talking about inbound led outbound, these are people that are both problem aware and solution aware. Specifically, they're aware of your solution. It's because they've already interacted with your content, because they've already seen your website, they're already on your newsletter, and that's what makes them more likely to convert, because they're already familiar with you. So when you reach out to them, it's super, super relevant because they know who you are. They've probably seen your face. They've even heard you speak. And that's why it does so well. As you can see on this chart, the more relevant, the higher the effectiveness. It's very simple to understand. Now, as I said earlier, what we're going to be focusing on in this video is the full-time cold email framework. And typically, this is how it works. First, to be fair, if you're watching this video, you should already have your own B2B company. If not, you need to choose a service to fulfill. Now, this doesn't necessarily just mean a service. It can be a software product. But the point is here that you need to service other companies. And ideally, you have a lifetime value of at least $5,000. Then, if you've already been actively serving clients or customers, you should already have an idea of who what your niche is and who your ICP potentially is. If not, you need to pick one and start researching them. Even if you know who your niche is, and even if you've serviced people, still don't ignore this process and make sure you do deep research into your niche. That's going to be the difference, because that will lead you on to step 3, which is building your offer for the ICP. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. They will start to build their offer before they've even selected their niche or understand their niche. That's working backwards. Because how can you build something that people want when you don't even know who them people are? So you need to discover who these people are, what keeps them up at night, their desires, their pains, and then you need to build an offer around that to solve that, to address that. Step 4, you set up your cold email infrastructure. You start warming up the inboxes at step 5. Step 6, you sign up to Clay. Step 7, you build your TAM of your niche on Apollo and export it and import it into Clay. Step 8, you start building your first tables and organize in an organized workbook. And then 9, you launch your campaigns. So it's a 9-step framework, and I'm going to cover this in this video. So stay for the ride. So step 1, choose your B2B focused service. Now, to run a successful TAM marketing campaign, your foundation starts with the right service. So there's not a right service. There are services that perform better over cold traffic. Now, first, you need to address a specific need of business clients, not consumers. It's actually illegal to cold email consumers without an opt-in. Step 2, then you need to make sure you're actually solving real tangible problems. A business is not a business without solving problems. In essence, you're not going to make no money if you're not solving a pain or a desire. Ensure that your service can adapt to different industries and niches within the B2B space. Although we're picking a niche, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be married to a niche. Plus, there's multiple sub-niches within a niche, but we're not going to talk about that because I could speak about that forever. And now I just want to talk about the 2 types of offers. So there's demand capture and demand generation. A demand capture offer is an offer that people will buy only if they're actively looking for it. And in essence, these are the hardest offers to sell off a cold email. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's impossible, but they're the hardest. But you can get by this by using triggers, because that is, we can watch for people that, or watch for things that give us the idea that they might be looking for a service like one we're providing. And examples of this is websites, IT services, insurance, recruiting, bookkeeping, credit card processing, and so on. The best offer, or the easiest offer, because there is best and worst, but ideally you want to be in this area. You want to have a demand generation offer. Now, this is an offer that creates interest and generates demand by itself. So even when prospects aren't actively looking for this specific solution, it solves a problem that they may have not realized yet, or presents new opportunities for them. So this is like getting leads. So any marketing agency is technically a demand generation offer. So it's like Facebook ads, personal branding on Twitter or LinkedIn, automated outreach, cold email, influencer marketing, cold call, appointment setting, anything of that nature. The way I like to see it is that it's anything that you can tie to directly generating a company revenue. So typically marketing services, right? But once again, it's how you position it, because you can make a website offer, demand generation, depending on how it's framed and positioned within the cold email, or the way that the business is positioned in general. So the key difference is demand capture relies on existing intent, and we can look for this intent with custom scraping, while demand generation sparks new interest and drives curiosity, or just based off the offer. So demand generation offers do better over cold email on average. But like I said, that doesn't mean that demand capture offers don't work, because it depends on the targeting and if you can show that there's clear intent by the company, which is relatively easy to do if you know what you're doing. Now you need to pick your niche and do some research on the niche. What to research? Pains and desires. You need to understand their biggest challenges, what they truly want. What problems are they facing? What solutions do they value most? You also need to map out the details of your ICP and really get to know them inside and out. So who are they? What keeps them up at night? What motivates them? What makes them take action? And this can be done for each and every single role. because each role, whether or in terms of decision makers, whether it's a CEO, a CMO, whether it's a CRO, head of finance, COO, all of these roles have different pains and desires that they're dealing with. Like a CEO is more concerned with the overall growth of a company, whereas a marketer or a CMO may be concerned with like CAC, um, and like a I don't know a head of sales may be more concerned with Q1 targets and generating pipeline, and you'd speak to that within your emails, within your messaging. My point is here: the more granular you get with your research, and the better you understand your ICP, the stronger your messaging is, and therefore the better your campaigns will perform. Now you can use ChatGPT for research. Don't rely on it, because at the same time you need to be able to understand what you're looking for. But I just wanted to just give you some prompts. By the way, you get access to this document after, so don't worry about like screenshot it or trying to copy it. You have access to the document. Now, here are some prompts. Based on my service being insert service and insert niche, who are the decision makers I should be speaking to? Make a list of the top 10 and justify. This will give you a list of decision makers that you should be speaking to, and also justification. And so you can see the reasons that ChatGPT has selected them, and therefore you can then make a decision whether it's right or wrong, and amend the prompt and so on. Prompting is more of it's a continuous based thing. So anyone that's trying to sell you prompts off of the cart that just work instantly, don't trust them, because these things take work. And then number 2 is based on a list of decision makers. Please tell me in relation to the service I provide, which is, and then you insert your service, what are their pain points that I solve, and what are their biggest desires? Once again, this just allows you to, it allows ChatGPT to put itself in the shoes of your prospect. Once you can understand their pains and desires, you can speak to that in the messaging as well. Now, step 3. Now we're going to build an offer for the ICP. We now understand who they are, everything about them. And just to be clear, your offer isn't the service that you're actually providing. All the offer is, in terms of cold email anyway, it's a reason for someone to say yes. You're looking for hand raisers. That's all your offer is for, or in my opinion anyway. Now, to craft the offer that resonates, you need to align it perfectly with your ICP's wants and desires. Now, how do you actually design an offer that your ICP wants? We've already done step 1, which is understand their biggest pain points and their desires. We've done that. We've done that in the research phase. Number 2, you need to focus on outcomes, not features. So when you're actually speaking to your prospect or even thinking about your offer, you're not like feature dumping on them. We have this feature, that feature, that feature, that feature, because it means nothing. It means nothing. Your offer should demonstrate what you can potentially deliver. Whether it's more leads, higher revenue, time savings, you must offer clearly a benefit, a tangible benefit. You also need to think of something that's quote unquote irresistible. Now, I hate this. This was made popular by like many gurus, like Hormozi, for example. And Hormozi defines it as the Grand Slam offer. But you need to just build an attractive offer that you know that your ICP is going to want. That's it. So an example is a free audit with something tangible at the end of it. I think what people forget is there's no inherent value of you analyzing someone's campaigns, or well, there is value there, but especially now with how sophisticated the market is, people aren't really biting onto free audits. But if you were to give someone a free audit with a tangible item at the end of that audit, whether it's a full strategy or even a free trial, then that is something that is going to be potentially be irresistible. You can also offer them free tools and resources tailored to their pain points. Nowadays, because AI exists, there's no reason why you can't customize your lead magnets or customize your tools. Like I previously ran campaigns with a fully custom personalized strategy document. And in essence, it was just, here's everything that you need to run an outbound motion based on your company. It took me no more than 2 minutes to create. And all I had to do was just fill out a form with the company details. AI would create the document and I'll send it to them. There's no reason why you couldn't do the same for your agency. And that is an irresistible offer, or irresistible offer. Um, and then you could offer like a limited time incentive, and this can potentially work if you're already known to this specific person. So these things will do very well off of like inbound and outbound, for example. The goal of the offer is, as I said earlier, it's about getting hand raisers. You want people that are gonna say yes, because if they say yes, they're lead, and if they're lead, they've shown intent, and if they've shown intent, that's when you can start trying to book them onto your calendar, and then potentially close doors. You also need to keep your offers incredibly clear and easy to understand. A confused prospect won't ever convert, so make sure that your offer is clear to understand and communicates the value in a glance. It should be quick and easy. So to be clear, your offer should bridge the difference. So to be clear, your offer should be the bridge between their pain points and their desires, which is your solution. You're pitching your solution as a problem, as a solution to their problems. Now, step 4, you need to set up your cold email infrastructure. Now, back in the days, we had to manually go to Google Workspace, go to Microsoft, buy your inboxes, and it was tedious, it was long, but it was the only way that we had to do it. Now, although I do still recommend doing it that way for some of your cold email infrastructure, there's tools like Maldoso that make it incredibly quick and incredibly easy to set up hundreds of inboxes in literally 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. Whereas before, it would take sometimes like even half a day to set up all of that infrastructure. Even a whole day. For hundreds of inboxes, you're looking at a whole day's worth of work. Now, as I said, with Maldoso, you can quickly set up and automatically create inboxes and domains in literally 10 minutes, and they've set up, warm up, and everything in between, all within the platform. They're a fantastic platform. I use them myself, and they're great. I also recommend, for the purpose of that diversification, you need to also purchase inboxes manually. In my opinion, others will argue and say, no, you don't need to do that. There's other providers that can do it for you. Me personally, just do it yourself. So purchase inboxes from both Google and Microsoft. Make sure you're setting up DKIM, DMARC, SPF for compliance and for deliverability. And this actually builds credibility and improves email deliverability as well. I made a whole video about setup in terms of Google Workspace. I haven't done one for Microsoft, but in essence, it's very, very similar. You can watch it here, and I'll also link it in the description. Step 5, you're going to warm up your inboxes. This is very, very easy process. You can sign up to Smartlead. They're a very powerful sequencer, and this is where we manage all of our internal campaigns and our campaigns for our clients. We're going to warm up our inboxes, okay? So you're going to sign up to Smartlead. Smartlead is a very, very powerful email sequencer, and they prioritize their deliverability first, meaning that that's where their priorities lie. So we're going to turn up warm up, and we're going to turn up warm up for around 14 days. And this is just to build sender reputation. What that means is that we're going to, well, the warm up process, it mimics normal kind of email sending between two inboxes, and it basically builds that reputation up. And we're going to gradually increase the email activity while avoiding spam filters. So if an email does land in spam, it's taken out and put into the primary inbox. Then we're going to sign up to Clay. Now, Clay is where the real magic happens. So why we use Clay, it enables advanced personalization and relevancy at scale, making your outreach stand out. So while your inboxes are warming, you start doing that first. So you warm up, you start warm up, you build your email infrastructure. And during this 14-day period, this is where we're going to start building the campaigns. So in essence, we'll go from start to campaigns launched within a 14-day period. Well, 14-day plus. Now I'm just going to go through how to use Clay, because Clay can be a little bit complex. Some of the things I'm going to cover is how to use Claygen. Claygen is their AI-powered web scraper, and it searches the web directly. So it uses It can extract company details, contact information, insights from websites, even do research in terms of funding, all without relying on any APIs or anything like that. I've also used it to actually build lead lists. It's an incredible, incredible tool. And, you know, just Claygen alone is worth every penny in terms of like what we pay for what we pay Clay monthly. We're going to go through some scraping. Our chosen tool internally is Zenrose. Zenrose is the cheapest and I would say most powerful scraper. There are other scrapers we use like Serpa.dev, but Zenrose is perfect. We're going to talk about how we're going to leverage or how you can leverage AI. So our chosen LLM is GPT. Other people use Claude, but we like GPT, and we're going to basically show you how we use it to personalization, and like also generate kind of like tailored messaging. We are also going to cover AI formulas, so how we create formulas for free that can clean, format, and reshape your data. Formulas is something that is definitely looked, and once again, one of the most powerful features. A lot of the things that people go to AI for, you can achieve with formulas. So if you want to save GPT credits or whatever LLM that you use, please understand your formulas. Learn how to build formulas. Learn how to prompt your formulas, because AI can write them for you. We're also going to cover things like conditional runs. This means that we can optimize our workflows by enriching only when we need it to be enriched. In essence, this is going to save you money and also provide structure to your campaign building process. And finally, we're going to be covering validating and finding leads. Inside Clay, there's a native integration called Lead Magic. This is what we use to validate and find leads. It's all you need. There are other providers, but we recommend Lead Magic just based off of price and their coverage. It's proven already. You can find it on Clay. They have the best coverage. Well, I think it's top 3 they were for SMBs, which is kind of majority of the time, these are the companies that you're going to be targeting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be covering, move me here, is how to use Claygen. Now you can use Claygen, the way you can access it, you can either go add enrichment or just add a column, use AI. We're going to go here. It's already selected Claygen by default. Select Photo Mini, unless you want to spend loads and loads of money, or select whatever kind of LLM you use. Also, I already have my API key here. It's spelled Davod, but it's okay. And now you write your prompt. Just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to get a list of domains quickly. Just bear with me. All right, so what I've done, I've just updated or imported a list of accountants or accountancy leads. And what we're going to do, we're going to run Claygen against their website. So that's fine. Mini API key. Now what we're going to do, we're going to look for case studies. Okay, so maybe like you want to run a campaign and you want to understand if they have case studies. So we're going to write a prompt for it. So your task, website, so I love to use true and false, just because in my opinion, it's probably easier for the AI just to respond with, and it gives you clear answers that you can then use in your formulas or including or excluding and so on. Where's the company name? There it is. And we're just going to run 10 rows and see what it gives us. Okay, so as you can see, we've got response. Typically, what you would do, you would run Claygen for 10 rows. You would then see if it's gotten responses, and it has. Perfect. And then you're going to not troubleshoot, but you're going to analyze to make sure it's actually true what it's saying. by going through and clicking on like the websites and actually verifying what it's saying is actually correct. Then you'd probably run it. I like to do 50 times. So after 10, in my opinion, testing it just 10 times is by no means enough. Trust me, because once you run it against 10,000 kind of lines, you're going to get errors. So try to test it as thoroughly as possible, um, just to make sure the prompt is bulletproof and the responses are bulletproof. And then once you're sure, 100% sure, like I said, I recommend to do it 50, run it 50 times on 50 different lines. And once you've got responses that you want, then you can run it at scale. But in essence, you can then see the steps it took to come to the conclusion that it's come to, and you can also see the confidence. What I like to do as well, if the confidence is low or medium, I think it's low, medium, high, and very high. If it's medium, if it's anything other than high or very high, I like to then run it again. So just to double check it to see if it comes back with anything else. But as you can see, it's come back with true, false, true, false, true, false, which is exactly what we're looking for. You can make it more advanced, so you can get it to extract information out of the website. But just for this example, I just wanted to keep it super, super easy. Now I want to just go on to send rows and how we use it for scraping. Here we are. Now for this, we're just going to keep it super, super basic, and we're just going to scrape the website body. Where are we? Body text. So the way Zemras works is for each, so render JavaScript, you're going to be charged more. Premium proxies, you're going to be charged more. If you're just doing very simple scrapes like the website body, 9 times out of 10, you don't need these features. So typically we keep it off. We're also going to keep off auto pass because what we're doing, we're just looking for the body text. We're not going to add anything conditional at this stage. Actually, this is a good time to actually show you conditional runs. So for this, we're going to ask it only run, not typing, only run if, where are we? Case study response is true. So we're basically saying if a case study is present, if a case study is present, scrape the website. Now, we may be scraping the website to then analyze it with AI further. There's so many reasons why we'd be doing this and running this conditional run. But this is just the example that I've chosen to run with. You're going to generate the formula. And then we're going to make sure that it's correct. No, it isn't. So we need to regenerate the formula. There we go. Because that was, it was doing true or false. Like, as in like a checkbox is ticked on. If a checkbox is ticked, that's true. If a text box isn't ticked, it's false. But now we're doing it by the text, by the term, the words true and false. So now let's look. We've got yes, true, and we're ready to go. Okay, so now we can save it and run it. So as you can see, it's only running the 2 rows that we have a case study for. And we can have a look to make sure it's worked. Yep, we've got the body text. And we have the body text. Now, one thing I will say, when you are scraping website bodies, you'll find that you get an error. And it's because there's a limit in regards to how much text you can have inside one cell, inside Clay. Now, the way we get past this, we edit the column. We go to formulas again. We use AI. And what we're going to say is for body text, limit to, we'll do 3,000 characters. And that should remove the error. There we go. So now we have the whole, well, as much as the body text as possible, and then we can start doing AI manipulation and stuff like that. And let's actually do that now. Not manipulation, but um, we can do evaluation, we can create content, we can create personalization, all from it. So let me just show you an example for a mini. I'm just going to say what I like to do. Like, so if we were just trying to make sure that they were in the ICP, for example, I always like to do a check to make sure they actually are within the industry or within the ICP that I'm searching for or that I'm trying to target. So look at this website body and confirm they are an accounting or tax firm. If they are, respond true. If they are not, respond false. Text. And then we give it the script. Oh, no, that's not correct. We need it formatted. To be fair, we could have given it the original body text, but it's fine. Provide context. You are a B2B researcher. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. No conditional run, because it's only going to run if this is present anyway. Because we have this toggled on. See? So it only runs these, and it's true, perfect. So we know these companies fall into ICP. So now let's look into lead validation just very quickly. That's the last thing. I have done this in a random order, but this is just the easiest way to go. Now, we're going to go add enrichment. We're going to find lead magic. Lead magic. And we're going to validate email. These should be validated already, I'm sure. I've already got my API and it's already selected email for us. Perfect. And we're going to get all of this info. This is why I love Lead Magic as well. It gives us so much valuable information. So like if you wanted to segment by the email service provider, you can do that. Obviously, we get the email back. We get if it's validated or not, and so on. It's going to run 10 rows. Let's make sure that they're validated. Okay, so one of them is invalid. This is because it's quite an old list, actually. And what we're going to do, we're going to see if we can find it with Lead Magic again. The only thing is, like I said, because it is old, it's possible that this person has left the company and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. But we're going to give it a go anyway to see if maybe they've just updated their email. So we're going to find work email. The person's name is... We need the full name. Okay. So to get their first name, their full name, what we're going to do, we're just going to create a formula. First name plus space. Oh. Plus last name. There we go. Nice and easy. To be fair, I need to double check, but I think Lead Magic may have already done this for us. Oh, but it was invalid anyway, so we need to search it. So now we've got the full name structured. We can go back here and company domain, their full name. And we're only gonna run if where we validated email is invalid. So once again, this is a conditional run. This will avoid you wasting things like your credits and so on. So it's only going to run on number 5, which is, it's 5th here, but it's 7th here because of these 2 empty columns. So that's correct. And I'm going to run. Let's see if it works or not. So we're running here. See if it will find us a new email. And what's good about this, it finds the email and validates it for us. It is more expensive to run this, but you're finding emails that loads of other people wouldn't be. And that's what makes it valuable. I'm just going to pause. All right, so unfortunately, no email was found. I honestly do think this is just because they're no longer with the company, because like I said, I pre-validated this quite some time ago. But yeah, that is it for the clay breakdown. Let's go back to the presentation. Now, number 7 is list building. Now, you can use clay to build your list, and there's nothing wrong with that. I personally like to source my data from Apollo. So typically what I would do, if I'm doing a custom scrape, I'll do the custom scrape and I'll enrich it in Apollo and then put it into clay for further campaign building. So most of the time, all of the list building will be done in Apollo first, and then we'll upload. Like I said, you can build your lists and everything like that inside clay natively, but this is my workflow and this is why I'm recommending doing it this way. Okay, and number 7, we're going to build a list and scrape Apollo. Now, not all, but majority of our campaigns, even if it is a custom scrape, we'll do the custom scraping, we'll enrich in Apollo, and then we import into clay. You can also build your list inside clay, source the data, source the contacts, and do your enrichment and validation and so on after that. But for me, my preference is to source the data in Apollo, scrape Apollo, and then import it into clay. That's just my preference. You don't have to do it that way. There's so many different ways to skin a cat, but this is how we skin our cat. Now, why do we scrape Apollo? It avoids Apollo exports limits and saves us money. And we can collect unlimited leads, including emails, phone numbers, and LinkedIn profiles. The reason why we like Apollo is because they have advanced filters. Although not perfect, they are precise enough, and we're more than happy with it. And we also do further validation and kind of cleaning and scraping to ensure that the list is precise inside clay. So although, yes, we are filtering and building our ICP inside Apollo, we're also verifying it by scraping the website, scraping SEO descriptions inside clay, and then running it against AI to make sure it actually is within our ICP. In terms of the process of how to do it, you build your list in Apollo, you define the ICP, you're going to look at around, on one page, I believe there's 25 different contacts. As long as 75%, or I've put 70 here, but as long as 70 to 75% of the leads match the ICP on that first page, then for me, it's all good. I can extract it and start scraping it. If not, you have to work on your filtering and targeting. Then use this tool called Export Apollo, and they will export the list for you for a fraction of the price. I actually made a video detailing this whole process. You can watch it here. I'm not going to cover it in this video just because, the content's already there, already exists. But give that video a watch if you want to, scrape unlimited leads with Apollo. And although it says 2024, it's the same process. It works in 2025 as well. Now, number 8, copywriting and campaign structure. So step 1, you need to figure out different value propositions for your offer. Typically, you can do 3 to 5 different value propositions. The whole goal here is that when we're writing and even running these campaigns, your target is to get beneath 1 interested reply per 250 leads that are contacted. For us, if we can get it there, that's a successful campaign. There's no reason why you can't get better results, like 1 lead per 100, 1 lead per 150, 1 lead per 200. But our benchmark, what we aim for, is 1 interested reply, which is 1 lead per 250 contacts. Step 2, once you find a winning proposition, you're going to double down on that. So you're going to scale that specific proposition and scale that copy. To do this, you're going to A/B split test to optimize the replies and actually measure which one is performing better. For the copy, you experiment on the wording and the tone. You're going to get creative, trying different formats, different structures. You can try different subject lines, although what we've found is that is not the biggest determinator on campaign success. Quick question works fine, but it's lazy. So you can just get creative with it without going too crazy, because like I said, it doesn't really matter. Don't hyperfixate on subject lines. You're also going to test the CTA, test different variations that get you the best engagement, and you're also going to test various personalized first lines, PS lines, and so on. One thing I will say is that you only test one thing at a time, because if you're testing multiple things at the same time, so if you're testing the CTA and the copy, or the copy and the personalization, you will not know which one is actually determining the change in results, whether good or bad. Now, in terms of email structure, you don't have to get too complex. Everybody in the B2B space that's in this kind of outbound, they preach that they have this, email structure, this magical email framework. Now, don't get me wrong, copywriting is a very, very important part of what we do. Writing high converting copy is very much a skill, but it is not everything. The one thing that is the most important aspect of all things cold outbound, cold email, is the offer. But with that being said, typically the way we structure emails is it starts with a personalized relevant first line, and this is just to grab their attention. We'll then highlight some sort of pain point or desire, maybe a poke the bear question, or just mentioning that we making an assumption that they may be experiencing a pain point. Then we offer the solution that we're trying to pitch as a solution to their pain. We'll also show some social proof in the midst of that as well. While we're kind of offering our solution, we'll also have some social proof. And the copy, so for whatever reason it didn't load there. Oh, and CTAs, we keep them soft and value driven. I never, ever, ever use a hard CTA. And hard CTA is something like, would you like to talk about this? Or let's hop on a call, or have you got 20 minutes to speak? I never, ever do hard CTAs. It doesn't matter how good your offer is. It could be a no-brainer offer. It could be a grand slam offer. But there's just the risk to reward just isn't there. In my opinion, you should always go with soft CTAs. Offer something valuable and tangible up front, whether it's a free insight, an audit, a documentation, a video, a custom Loom video, whatever it is. That is how we structure our CTAs. And at this point, it's never going to change. And that is only because we're optimizing for a yes. We're not optimizing for a booked call. And that's where I think a lot of people get it wrong. They are trying to write emails to book calls. That is not what we're doing. We're writing emails to get a yes, and then we book the call. And the only way to do that is to create systems in the back end, nurturing sequences, processes to actually optimize and nurture your prospects into a book call. But that's just my own opinion anyway. Now, how this is just an example of copy of how it could potentially look. So, hi name, so you're the CMO at fintech company. I wanted to ask, is generating leads without running up your CAC a priority for you as we start 2025? This is good because it's asking, this is not necessarily a pain point. Oh, yeah, it is. We're asking, is this pain point something that's a priority for you, which is generating leads without increasing like ad spend and stuff? And we also just create some relevancy by mentioning, the year's just started. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions. They're looking to, hit things hard. So it's always nice to mention that. Then we go into the solution. We specialize in helping fintech companies rank higher on Google, driving more organic traffic and qualified leads without burning cash on ads, which is potentially a pain point for them. We're just emphasizing that, maybe you're spending money ads, it's not working for you. And then we drop in some social proof, which is recently we helped similar fintech client grow from X amount of MRR to higher MRR in just under 8 months with our system. Obviously, we can snazz this up a bit more with our organic lead generating system or whatever, but in essence, the structure's there. And then finally, we finish with a soft CTA, which is, can I share the exact strategy we used with you here in a document? Nice and easy to say yes to, low activation energy. And most time, if you're a fintech founder or if you're a fintech CMO, you see a message like this, you're likely to say yes, because it's like, why would you not say yes to a free strategy where that's proven to work in the past, proven to work on a very similar business as your own. Now, once you've got your copy, you've got your lead list. Now it's time to start kind of organizing that data into a workbook or Clay table. Now, you're going to set up your workbook in Clay with 5 key tables. The first is going to be the raw Apollo data table. So this is where you put all of that Apollo data. This is where we do our cleaning. Some people do their cleaning in Google Sheets. That's not what we do. We put the raw data into Clay, and that's where we start the cleaning and manipulation and so on. You're also going to have an accounts table, and I'll share a template with you, but for you to use, so you can just look at it. You're also going to have an accounts table, and this is going to be what you're going to do with the raw Apollo data. Once it's been cleaned, you're going to send all of the businesses to this table. So all of the leads, technically, you're going to send all of the leads to the accounts table, and you're going to dedupe by the website. You're going to clean the website first and then dedupe by the website. This means that you'll have just the accounts, just the unique websites, which in essence will be the unique businesses. And this is going to include, and then you're going to start deleting contact level information because it's not relevant for this table. And it's going to include things like company name, industry, employee count, and other key attributes that are unique to the accounts, not the contacts. You're also going to have a contact table. Once again, you're going to send all of the contacts to all the leads, contacts, whatever you want to call it, to the contacts table. And then you're going to link this table with the accounts table. So every single contact, you may have like 3 contacts that are part of one account. And this is going to include things like name, title, email, phone number, LinkedIn profile, and stuff like that. The 4th table is going to be the personalization and segmentation table. And you're going to launch campaigns from this table. So it's actually 4, not 5. So please forgive me. And this is where you're going to focus on your kind of your AI copywriting, your AI custom fields, any relevant customizations. And once again, that will be linked to the campaign table as well. So there's 4 tables, and this table will also allow you to send all of that information to your campaigns that you would have preset inside Smartlead, along with the copy and the custom fields. What this will allow you to do is just have a repeatable process of how to actually launch your campaigns. It also means that you're organized, and you can refer back to these tables as needed. The tables, in terms of the template I'm going to give you, the Apollo data table will be structured, the accounts table will be structured, the contacts table will be structured, but the personalization and segmentation table will not be pre-structured. And this is because this is unique to your company and your own ideas in regards to and philosophies around personalization and segmentation. That's not similar across the board, but in terms of accounts and contacts, that can be it's universal, right? You're going to look for the same account data, or maybe there's more, but you can add that to that. But typically, you're going to look at the same account data and contact data. And what I'll do, it's not in this. I'll add this to the presentation, and I'll also link the the template in the description as well. And what we'll do, we'll just have a look at how this template looks right now. All right, so here's a template. Let's just make myself smaller. Go to the side. So this is how the template looks. So this is the raw Apollo field. We're taking all key information. Right, so let's look at the columns here. So we have everything: email, first name, corporate phone, everything that's kind of relevance. Then we have the accounts table. Now this is all account specific information. This is the website domain cleaned up, company URL, Facebook, Twitter, the city, the states, and also scraping. So we're going to scrape the website body, so we have that context there. We have we're going to scrape the SEO meta description if it's not already available. The reason why I love Apollo is because a lot of this data is already available, but if it's missing, we can go scrape for it. Then in this table, you're also going to define whether they're a B2B company. Then you're going to define if they're a competitor or not. And you're also going to define the company type. And these are a few other things that you can do. But in essence, this is just the accounts table. Then we have the leads table. And yeah, it's just typical information. So like the email, the first name, the last name, the full name, the title, the company name. Also linked the account. And then we're also going to do things like make sure that they are a decision maker, and also make sure that their role is formatted properly for cold emails, because sometimes people put emojis and stuff like that, and Apollo will pick that up, but we're going to reformat that. As I said, these fields are going to be unedited, so it'll be up to you to create your kind of personalizations if that's what you want to do. And then, yeah, this is just to send the campaigns. Now, this doesn't matter if you're using Instantly, Smartlead, or whatever sequencer. You should be able to automatically send them with, with Clay. Okay. Okay, so we're back. So, and obviously number 9 is just launching the campaigns. You're going to upload your copy. It should have already it should have been pre-uploaded. You're going to start sending, and pretty much the key outcomes of following this whole process is a well-structured campaign building process and a well-structured campaign. It will be data-driven, because you would have your split test, your A and B split test, as well as a structured system that allows you to go back and alter based on kind of the data you get, and it'll be hyper-targeted and segmented. Now, because you got to the end of this video, first and foremost, I want to say thank you, because nowadays people's attention spans are absolutely cooked. So I'm so happy that you managed to do that, watch this video all the way through. But because you did, I want to offer you something, and that is a free consultation with me for 1 full hour, no strings attached. I'm not going to try to pitch you or anything like that. And we can cover everything outbound. So we can cover how to leverage Clay for hyper-personalized outreach. We can cover any copywriting questions that you have, any cold email strategy and execution questions that you have, how to build your ICP, how to create laser-focused targeting, how to segment your lists, how to list build effectively, how to scrape effectively. It's 1 hour with me, and a chance for you to learn as much and pick my brain, all things cold email and outbound, as much as you want. So unlimited, right, for 1 hour. What I'll do, I will leave an application below. It'll be a Google form where you can just apply in the description. Apart from that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions in regards to any videos that you want to see in the future, please let me know in the comments. Thank you, guys. Love you lots.